I just wanted to tell you a little story from my research about how these tools can be useful and how they can be used. So when I was interviewing people for my Everyday Decisions project, I talked to people with learning disabilities and autism and brain injuries, and I also talked to care professionals. When I talked to people with learning disabilities and autism, I met a young man who I'm going to call Alex. That's not his real name. Often researchers use a different name for people to protect their identities. So Alex told me about his experience of having power of attorney. So Alex was 22 when I spoke to him. He told me he had autism and ADHD. He lived at home with his mum and dad, but led a reasonably independent life. He was supported to do lots of different things. He had a part-time job with a charity, and he had a good routine for his week that worked well for him. He's a big football fan. He's also passionate about trains, and I'd been on holiday to Japan not long before I met Alex, and we had a very fun conversation about my experience of the Japanese bullet trains. So he was a really nice young lad. I mean, not that young, I suppose, at 22, but you know what I mean. But he struggled with his autism sometimes. It made him anxious, and he suffered with anxiety, and he sometimes struggled to get the words out, and he sometimes struggled to communicate with people in high pressure situations. So Alex gave his mum lasting power of attorney over his financial affairs, because he said to me, and this is Alex's words, not mine, "I would spend money. I don't know how to organise money. I've threw money away. I'm more comfortable with someone keeping an eye on it, because I mean, I'd throw away £50 a day on a football shirt, because the times I have, I impulse buy, and when I get down and depressed, I impulse buy, and it could be anything. I even bought a giant cuddly toy once that cost me £49. It's them sort of things I want to avoid. So she looks after my money, and she puts money in my account when it comes in, and she keeps an eye on my internet banking because I don't choose to use it. She asks me what I want every week or every fortnight. I'm allowed to look at everything, but it's just that I need that help, because if not, I would just blow it, and you've got to budget." So that was Alex using a lasting power of attorney for financial stuff to help him to manage his money so that he could continue to be more independent and lead a more independent life. And his mum supported him, and she let him choose how much money he should have and how to budget and all that kind of thing. So it was used as a really supportive tool for Alex. He also told me a story about when his dog chewed up his bank card and how difficult it was to get a new one. But perhaps we don't have time for that story today. Alex was also in the process of sorting out a lasting power of attorney for healthcare. And the reason why, and again, I'm going to quote Alex, so these are Alex's words. He said to me, "When I go to the doctors, I clam up. I struggle to explain myself, especially, and my mum always talks to me. So, like last week, I got a bad tooth and I had earache and everything. And he, that's the dentist, wanted to do root canal treatment, and I hadn't a clue. So my mum, who was sat in the corner, I asked her to explain to me. Even though I come across as very confident, I struggle in that sense. I go in there and I clam up, or because of my anxiety, when I'm in a real high state of anxiety, because I suffer from that, I'm sweating, I can't talk, I'm shaking, and it's like I want to break out the building. So I just wanted to have her there, because say she knows me best. If I can't speak, I know she can speak for me, and she'll do what I want. So he wants to use health and welfare power of attorney to enable his mum to be his voice when he can't have that voice for himself. And I hope that Alex's story has helped you to see why a lasting power of attorney might help disabled people who are quite independent still, and who have lots of independence in their lives, to still be able to get support from the person that they choose to support them, rather than anyone.